This episode of Derapy is sponsored by Waffle House. Good food, good fights, good fun. Derapy. Just kidding. I'm not sponsored by anybody, but if you would like to sponsor me, you can. I'm a very easy person to get in touch with. Very reasonable rates. Anything would be better than nothing. Okay, so here's the show. So the Cowboys beat the Seahawks 41-35. Lately, I've been talking a lot about how the unders have really been hitting for these primetime games. Thursday night, Monday night, Sunday night, they've typically been low-scoring games, but because the Cowboys and Seahawks both played a week ago on Thanksgiving, it just ended up being a normal game. Now, one thing I will say that surprised me is I did not expect the Cowboys to give up 35 points to the Seahawks, but you could tell very early on in the game that, like, the momentum was about to shift because DK Metcalf taking, like, a slant to the crib as soon as the game started. I was like, oh boy, we might be in for a barn burner. So that was a really fun game to watch. I actually watched it live, and I'm glad the Cowboys pulled it out, not because I'm a Cowboys fan, but because I picked them, and I like being right. I picked the Falcons to beat the Jets, and they did 13-8. Yeah, I'm sure that game was about as fun as the score sounds. It's one of those that you would never catch me dead watching a Falcons and Jets game. But I do love the fact that I picked the Falcons to win. They did win. I had like a prop that I bet on for Bijan Robinson to get a couple more rushing yards than he did, but I'm just glad that I get to say once again, peace up, A-Town down. I almost wanted to put this off, but I'm going to go ahead and get into it. The Colts and the Titans game. I very much expected the Titans to win that game, especially considering they were at home. They usually play well in Nashville, especially against like mediocre quarterbacks. But here's the thing about Gardner Minshew. He's nice. He could probably start on a team or two. And he's currently starting for the Colts, and he's doing pretty well. In fact, Gardner Minshew actually threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks against that vaunted Vrabel defense. So I just did not expect our boys in blue, Nashville's boys in blue, to let me down like that. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. We move. By the way, Will Levis had himself not the most impeccable game against a Colts defense that isn't really known for being like super tough. He only completes 16 passes for 224 yards. My boy Derek, best Derek I know, King Henry, 21 carries for 102 yards, 2 tutties. Also, Tyjae Spears also came in, got 75 rushing yards on a 4.7 average. Like, come on, we move, and we lost. And it's also not I'm not actually a Titans fan. The Lions and the Saints game, I'm telling you, man, when that game first started, I think I was actually watching some of it. And the Lions, they started out really, really good. I believe they were up like 21-0 in the first quarter. Editor Derek, fact check me there. Yes! But the Saints, man, they tried to battle back. Derek Carr put on that angry face and said, we're not going out like some little babies. But they did go out with a little L. Lions win 33-28, and I picked the Lions, so yippee. Now, as far as this Broncos and Texans game, dog, I should have known better. I backed Russ because he'd been cooking, but was it really Russ? I don't know. Let's get into it. CJ Stroud is that guy. He is that guy. The Texans beat the Broncos 22-17, snapping the win streak. CJ Stroud, he completes 16 of 27 passes for 274 yards and a touchdown, no pick. Russell Wilson, on the other hand, 15 for 26, 186 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions to the Texans. Terrible. I should have known better. I should have backed the Texans. CJ Stroud is looking like a potential MVP candidate. Definitely not going to win, but like in the conversation. I just can't believe how good he looks this early on in his career. And just the fact that he's making the Texans relevant. I feel like the Texans deserve this. Like they've earned it after having to deal with all of Deshaun Watson shenanigans. Don't even get me started. But good for them. Good win for them. I got the pick wrong, but whatever, man. I picked the Chargers to beat the Patriots because the Patriots are useless. The game ended 6-0.
Ew, 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 ew.
6-0. I'm not going to go over the stats. We're not going to talk about the game. Terrible performance by both teams. Badly coached teams. I almost wish I definitely expected more from the Chargers. I don't know what was going on there. You know what? Fine. I'll take a peek. How on earth did Austin Eckler rush 14 times for 18 yards? How on earth did Justin Herbert throw 37 times for no touchdowns? I don't even know who's playing quarterback for the Patriots. I haven't kept up. Oh, they let Bailey Zappi play. They'd be better off letting my Bailey play quarterback. They're terrible. They scored 0 points. I mean, they scored the same amount as I scored. So they might as well have had me at quarterback. Who knows? It definitely would have been more fun to watch. Bailey Zappi, 13 for 25, 141 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Oh, Ezekiel Elliott is on this team, by the way. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, I don't think anybody outside of Massachusetts is watching Patriots games anymore, so it's tough for them. It's a long day. And the Chargers, man.
Come on, man.
Oh, my goodness. I'm at a loss for words. I mean, I've never been so disappointed in a team that's won a game, 6-0. I mean, sickening. Man, the Dolphins and Commanders game, it was fun watching bits and pieces of that. I believe Tyreek Hill, I'm pretty sure he had over 100 yards and a touchdown in the first half of that game. It was never close. Game ends 45-15, and I really think the Dolphins kind of took their foot off the gas. Like, there's no reason for you to score 70 twice in a season, but I definitely think they could have. The Commanders looked like they gave up on a lot of those plays. It was never really close. I picked the Dolphins to win, as they should have. Also, I listened to a lot of sports betting podcasts, like football betting podcasts, and like I do take a lot from those because it's not my full-time job to pick games or bet on sports or do like deep sports analysis. So a lot of times I listen to the quote-unquote experts, and I listen to a lot of experts saying that you should take the Commanders to cover 9.5, 10 points. And this is just one of those instances where I guess I just know better. I guess I'm just sharper than the sharps because I knew that the Commanders had no shot in this game. And when I saw how badly they were getting beat, I wasn't surprised at all. So, you know, kudos to me. I called it. But I also have to stay humble and sit down because I definitely, for whatever reason, thought that the Steelers would put up more of a fight against the Cardinals, who beat them 24-10. Sometimes it's just whose quarterback is better. And Kyler Murray is better. He's better than Kenny Pickett. He's better than Mitch Trubisky. He might be better than both of them combined. He did not have to do much in order for the Cardinals to come out and win this game 24-10 as they did. So I got that one wrong. I guess the Glorilla insanity run is over. I'm not going to spend too much time on this Panthers and Buccaneers game because I did not watch a single second or a single highlight from this game. But I picked the Buccaneers to win because I'm always going to
slow down, brother.
I'm always going to pick against the Panthers. And so that was an easy dub for me as far as a pick'em goes. And I do want to talk about this 49ers and Eagles game. So this was one of those games where I convinced my wife that it was an important enough event for both of us to experience together. So we go to Buffalo Wild Wings, not sponsored by them. Maybe I'll bleep it out. Editor Derek, you make that choice.
No one cares, man.
We're at the spot. We're watching the 49ers and Eagles game. After the first quarter, I think it might be like 6-0 or something like that. Editor Derek, fact check me.
Correct.
But it was a bad game. It was a really bad game at the start. Brock Purdy was looking a little sus. He was looking a little lost. But then the Eagles, they just fell apart. And you know, I think like one of those questions that gets asked all the time is like, did this team win the game or did this team lose the game? And a lot of times you hear people answering that question with, oh, it's a little bit of both. The 49ers crushed. They were cooking. Like it was the 49ers dominating the Eagles. And there is something to be said about the fact that I believe the Eagles have played 3 games in the last 13 days. I think their last game they played like over 90 snaps or something like that, and I think the 49ers are coming off a little bit more rest. But there were all these storylines and narratives going into this game because this is a NFC Championship rematch, and the 49ers were very much convinced that they lost that NFC Championship game because Brock Purdy was not playing. So they came out to make a point. All their players are showing up in all black like it was about to be an Eagles funeral.
And then the Eagles got fucking killed.
And they weren't lying. There was no cap in their chat. Like they pulled up and they destroyed, and it was another really awesome performance by the 49ers offense. Brock Purdy, there goes that guy again. Purdy damn good. Brock Purdy is Thanos, okay? And when he has all of his Infinity Stones, that being Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, everybody's healthy, he is inevitable. He can snap at any point, and half the universe, being the other team, will disintegrate. They will cease to exist, and that is just what happened. The Eagles did not have an answer. Jalen Hurts wasn't looking super healthy throughout the game. He missed a couple plays, and all these things just combined for what was a massacre, a demolition, just pure devastation for the city of Philadelphia. I'm sorry. let's move on. The Browns and Rams game. Basically what I do whenever I see a Rams game on the board, I just look to see if the Rams are generally healthy, and if it's a team that's like even in their ballpark, I'm pretty much always going to lean towards the Rams just because I know what Aaron Donald is capable of on the defensive line. If Matthew Stafford is healthy, if Cooper Kupp is healthy, and Puka Nacua is healthy, and Sean McVay is awake, I just believe in the Rams. I just kind of expect them to do well on offense and keep it a competitive game. So that's why I think even next week, I think they might be playing the Ravens potentially. Editor Derek, fact check that.
Oh, yeah, they do.
I know that the Ravens are favored by around a touchdown, and I wouldn't pick the Rams to win, but I would almost always pick them to cover in that spot because I think they're always capable of putting up points. But yeah, I picked the Rams. They won. Browns suck. And speaking of suck, the Chiefs and the Packers. I actually sat my happy self down to watch this game, having picked the Chiefs to win this game, and boy, oh boy, was I disappointed. Taylor Swift was in the house to cheer on her boyfriend, and it just didn't matter. The Packers, they had Lil Wayne on their side, so
we don't care.
They did not care, not at all. Jordan Love just straight up outplayed Patrick Mahomes, which you just don't expect to see or hear or say out loud yourself on any given day. Jordan Love, 25 for 36, 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Patrick Mahomes only throws for 210 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Pacheco was running like a madman, like he does, 18 carries for 110. Maybe he is the one that needs to be carrying the Chiefs these days. Patrick Mahomes throws in a little help, rushes for 26 yards himself. Travis Kelce is the leading receiver. That's not surprising, but he only catches 4 balls. It looks like they're trying to have Rashee Rice be their feature receiver, their number 1. So he gets 8 receptions, but it's only for 64 yards. 8 yards on average is not all that great for a number 1. I think they're still struggling to kind of get into an offensive rhythm. And it showed. The weather wasn't bad. It was nothing crazy. Early on in the day, I saw like the entire field was covered with snow, but then I actually go to watch the game, and it looks like a perfectly normal, just kind of cold night in Green Bay. And Green Bay, they just straight up outplayed them. They just outplayed them throughout the entire game, and it was just weird, man. It was just kind of uncomfortable to watch, especially as somebody that expected the Chiefs to win, picked them to win, picked them as a lock to win this week. So, yeah. The record on the week, though, pretty good. Not bad so far. We are 8-5 going into the Monday night game. I am recording this on a Monday afternoon, so I don't know the result of that yet, but I will update the record in the description of this show, of this episode, after we get the results of that. But for the record, I'm putting this out here. I picked the Jaguars, of course. I think they're going to win comfortably. Sometimes it's just as simple as the Jaguars have a better quarterback. The Bengals, they got a guy who I'm not super familiar with. I actually got to look up his name. Jake Browning. You think I'm afraid of Jake Browning? Give me the Jags, brother. But yeah, thank you all for tapping into this episode of Derapy. Now, I'm not actually sponsored by Waffle House, but I would recommend if you like getting cash back on stuff. I actually went to Waffle House today. That's why it was kind of on my mind. And I used my Cash App card, and I got 5% off my order. So that was pretty cool. Like 5% cash back into my Cash App account, like on my Cash App card. So if you don't already have a Cash App card, or if you don't use Cash App for some reason, you're still using just a Venmo, I highly recommend Cash App. Easiest way to send and receive money. Also get yourself a Cash App card. Cash App card is free, and you get cash back on qualifying stores, places, etc. So yeah. Love you, mean it. Thanks for tapping in. Enjoy the outro. Cracking my windshield, I'm pissed off. If you a hater, get lost. Get lost. Yeah, it's my show and I'm in charge. Don't eat lemon pepper wings, but I'm the big boss. Please cut me slack, man, need a discount. About to jump off the roof, that's a dismount. I'm just playing. I'm okay.
Okay, but like, are you though?
Sorry for the pause, that's awkward. Start a podcast cause I knew I was a talker. Yeah, my girl love me, but she's sick of my voice. And you know I'm pro-choice, so she do what she want. Why they hate when I get political? I'm a deep thinker, that's critical. Way too serious for a dude not getting paid. Man, I really need a shave. You know what sucks? Most of season 2 of Dave. Taking shots, but I skip out on the bar. Every single show, I swear I wanna raise the bar. Hope you listen close so you never miss the bar. Say the same thing, but I'm still going.